Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are cutting right through the noise of our incredibly busy modern lives to uncover a profound, honestly unavoidable biological reality. We're going to look at the undeniable thread that ties human health, human survival, and human consciousness directly to the dirt beneath our feet. I mean, we usually think of ourselves as entirely separate from the ground we walk on, right? But by the end of this, you're going to see exactly why that separation is the ultimate illusion.
So let me pose a question we all really need to ask ourselves. Are we truly separate from our environment? Over generations, we've basically built these high-heel lives for ourselves. We've engineered our outside world to artificially elevate us away from the earth, but we completely forgot to engineer our inward connection back to it. We've got perfectly paved cities, climate-controlled rooms, digital networks, literally doing everything we can to lift ourselves up and away from the soil. But while we've totally mastered the outside, we've kind of ignored what's going on the inside.
Okay, let's dive into this because we really need to shift our perspective. As the mystic Sadhguru puts it, the physical body you are sitting in right this second didn't just magically drop from the sky. It is literally just gathered food. And what exactly is that food? Well, it's just gathered soil. The fundamental building blocks of the life you call yourself and the dirt sitting outside your front door are the exact same biological process.
To really wrap our heads around this, we have to talk about the sheer scale of what we're dealing with. If you step outside right now and scoop up just a single handful of rich, healthy soil, guess what? You are holding somewhere between 6 to 8 billion living microorganisms. That's right, roughly the entire human population of planet Earth casually sitting right there in your palm. Soil isn't just some dead, inanimate stuff. It is literally the largest living system in the known universe. Now, here's where it gets wildly personal. If you map out the biological makeup of your own body, you might be surprised to find that only about 40% of you is driven by your human genetics. A staggering 60% of your bodily makeup is actually microorganisms. And as leading microbiome experts like Dr. Amaran Mayer point out, the microbes hanging out in your gut and the microbes living in the soil speak the exact same biological language. Your gut completely relies on those soil bugs to break down nutrients that your human body just cannot absorb on its own. So, the crucial point is, we are currently facing a totally unseen, catastrophic crisis. Over the last 70 years alone, we have seen an 84% drop in the global insect population. 84%. While we're out here cheering for the rising numbers of a few high-profile animals like tigers or pandas, we are completely ignoring the microscopic, foundational life forms that our entire existence actually depends on.
And that massive die-off beneath the surface, it translates directly to the food sitting on our plates. Since the early 20th century, we've seen an 80 to 90% reduction in the micronutrients found in everyday vegetables, like your basic lettuce and tomatoes. To put that into perspective for you, to get the exact same nourishment that someone got from a single California orange back in 1920, you would have to sit down and eat 8 oranges today. Our stomachs are full, sure, but our bodies are starving for actual nutrition. This degradation of our topsoil is triggering a massive, cascading global crisis. Just as an example, in India, common beans have lost 62% of their protein value in just the last 20 years. Globally, we are seeing huge spikes in physical ailments and mental health issues like ADHD, which are directly tied to this severe lack of micronutrients. I mean, look at the United States, the most affluent nation on earth with maximum food choices, and its healthcare budget is a staggering $5.25 trillion. You wouldn't be spending trillions of dollars on healthcare if you were eating food that actually fueled you. But hey, the good news is there are adults in the room, and there's a massive macro solution rapidly gaining ground right now. It's called regenerative agriculture. Basically, this is a system of farming that actively rebuilds soil health by cutting out toxic chemical inputs and stopping the mechanical tilling or churning up of the land. By doing this, it protects the soil's organic matter and keeps these incredible living underground fungal networks intact. Think of them like massive biological freeways that transport information and nutrients directly to plant life. And this brilliantly illustrates the big shift that needs to happen. On one side, you've got the old paradigm, industrialized, conventional farming that leans heavily on pesticides, massive machinery, and treats dirt as just a dead commercial commodity. But on the other side is the new paradigm, zero tillage, using natural plant and animal waste to build organic matter, and actually treating the soil as the incredibly rich, living ecosystem that it is. It's a total shift from an extractive industry to a life-saving, regenerative one.
Now, when we break down how we actually use our global agricultural land, a pretty startling picture emerges. Right now, we use about 51 to 52 million square kilometers of land for agriculture. But out of that, an incredible 41 million square kilometers is used exclusively for raising animals and growing their feed. If humanity were to reduce its meat consumption by just 25%, we would instantly free up 10 million square kilometers of land. The problem isn't that we can't produce enough, we actually produce enough food for 15 billion people. It's just how incredibly inefficiently we manage it all. Alongside regenerative farming, there's another really powerful method catching fire across the globe: tree-based agriculture. It used to be that putting trees on farmland was bogged down by tons of complex forestry regulations. But by simply redefining these practices and bypassing that outdated red tape, farmers are now actively mixing living trees right in with their traditional crops. This is proving to be a massive economic driver, and it's recognized as one of the very few strategies out there capable of actually stopping the violent expansion of deserts like the Sahara and the Sahel.
The macro benefits of making these shifts are absolutely astonishing. By rebuilding these organic networks, we instantly boost crop yields and plant nutrition, which down the line will drastically lower our global healthcare costs. Environmentally, adding tree cover and ground moisture stabilizes local weather patterns and calms high wind speeds. And economically, cutting out those expensive chemical inputs saves farmers tens of billions of dollars every single year. We are essentially talking about building a global trillion-dollar carbon capture food economy. However, voluntary changes alone just aren't going to cut it. We need a critical global policy shift. Simply put, to legally even call soil soil and not sand, there must be a mandate that all agricultural land maintains a minimum of 3 to 6% organic matter. Look, if you take a bucket of rich soil and strip away all the organic matter, you're just left with dead sand. We absolutely must implement policies that ensure this life-giving baseline is protected so the next generation doesn't just rip up the healthy soil we're working so hard to restore today. Because if we fail to protect that organic matter, the timeline of desertification is honestly terrifying. Let's look at history. 8,000 years ago, Saudi Arabia was a rich, lush rainforest. Today, it's a harsh desert. Right now, 2/3 of the world's agricultural land is at risk of turning into desert. Leading scientists are projecting that if we just stick to our current trajectory between the years 2045 and 2050, this planet will become extremely difficult to inhabit, which will inevitably trigger massive, destabilizing human migrations of over 1 billion people. Yet the solution is incredibly responsive. The Earth wants to heal. Increasing the organic matter in our soil by just 1% has a phenomenal environmental impact. That single percentage point change can lower local microclimate temperatures by 1.5 to 3 degrees Celsius, and it allows the soil to hold on to up to 60,000 liters of water per acre. It acts as a natural air conditioner and a giant sponge that stabilizes our weather and secures our water supply. And the economic incentive for the farmers doing this hard work, it is undeniable. Studies of tree-based agriculture show that the organic content provided by fallen tree litter significantly enriches the soil, making crop yields absolutely soar. Because of this, farmers are seeing their incomes increase anywhere from 300% to 800%. When we make farming deeply, tangibly profitable through ecological practices, we guarantee that future generations will actually want to stay on the land and grow the food we all need. Let's move to and see how this builds on a deeply personal, individual level. Restoring our connection to the earth isn't just about large-scale farming. It's a daily health practice for you and me. First, immerse yourself in green atmospheres. Studies actually show this naturally recharges the focus filters in your brain. Second, physically touch the soil daily with your bare palms and the soles of your feet. This grounds you and significantly boosts your immune system. And third, eat consciously. Recognize that every single bite you take is a direct interaction with the earth. It really all comes back to this incredibly humbling philosophical perspective. In this seemingly limitless cosmos, planet Earth is a speck. You are a microspeck. Countless generations have walked this planet long before us. They all had their dramas, their big economies, their belief systems. They all thought they were incredibly smart. And where are they now? They're the topsoil. We too are just a fleeting biological outcrop of this beautiful planet. Which leaves us with the ultimate question to close out this explainer. Knowing now that you are not separate from your environment, what kind of topsoil will you become? And even more importantly, through the choices you make today regarding the food you eat and the systems you support, what kind of earth will you leave behind for the generations that follow? It is a monumental challenge, but the power to change it is literally right beneath our feet.